Hi, I'm Dave, founder of Halloween Year Round. I'm here with Patrick.
How's it going, everyone?
And we are back in Cherry Hill, New Jersey for Monster Mania 59. A really fun-filled weekend plan. There's a big Scream reunion. There's a big Nightmare on Elm Street reunion. There's a big Hellraiser reunion here. Clive Barker himself is here.
Yes.
Robert Englund is here. We're going to try and meet them. No promises. We'll see.
Yeah.
But either way, we're going to have fun. It's our first time getting VIP, so really looking forward to the party tonight. And let's go in. So I've done Monster Mania in the cold and in the heat. Right now, it's like 90 degrees and 90% humidity. And I gotta say, I prefer the cold. All right, so we just got in. Got our special VIP wristbands. We got cool t-shirts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear mine tomorrow. And let's go see who we can find.
Yeah.
What's up, Ghostface? So I'm standing here with Pennywise the Dancing Clown. How are you tonight?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm pretty good, just taking in the sights. Tell me, have you eaten any children lately?
I can't say I have or I haven't, but yes, probably I have.
I think your lawyers worded that answer for you.
Yes, sir. I have no comment on those kind of questions.
Well, thanks for joining us, Pennywise. I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope you smelled plenty of fear.
Yes, sir. You yourself.
I'm here with voice actor Andrew Silver.
How are you today, people, as a part of the horror convention?
So tell me a little bit about yourself and your work.
Oh, my voice work varies. I trained in Narberth, Pennsylvania, referral through a family friend. I've, acting-wise, been part of a kids' cartoon and a audio horror drama. And then I've also had some corporate and industrial work all over the place, like announcements, training videos, and formative reads, how-tos, telecommunications. So my work goes all across the board.
So if you need a voice actor, call this guy.
Yes, I will be your voice. I'll be more than happy to be.
Look around and enjoy, because this is as empty as this room is gonna be all weekend. Take a look. You're like, oh wow, it's like a normal room. There's plenty of space. Not Saturday. Not tomorrow. So this is like Bob Ross but Pinhead. The horrors and hells of painting.
Happy little pins.
Yeah. So Patrick, you actually met Clive Barker.
Yes, I did.
Tell me about him. Show me what you got signed.
I got a signed copy of his movie Hellraiser. So, pretty cool, if you ask me. And overall, he was very nice, very gentlemanly. I didn't get a chance to talk to him a lot, like, you know, they were really keeping the line going. But overall, though, he was very nice, and I'm very honored to meet him.
It appears a portal to hell itself is opened as the apocalypse comes down on us here at Monster Mania. Have you repented? Are you ready? Are you willing to go bow down to Hellraiser as your new Lord and Savior?
We have such wonderful sights to show you.
This guy thought ahead. The foreign dignitary from Mars has arrived.
All guys have this problem sometimes.
So, are you Scream Pool or Ghost Pool?
How'd you even know it was me under here?
I know everything. I saw Deadpool and Wolverine. I know what you're up
Don't
to.
tell her. I don't want I'm going for the big
Those,
reveal.
it was really good. Those are very nice blades you have.
Yeah, they're not real. They don't let you bring the real one. Here, but he don't do these hacks. But I've seen him at other times, but he hasn't made his way.
We got ice cream.
Yep.
And really cool cake.
Yeah. They look awesome.
I don't see any of the celebrities here yet. They say that they're all invited, but no guarantee they show up. We'll see.
Then we will have the Cenobites and the Hellraiser stars that attend cut in a little bit. In the meantime, if you would, please don't cut the cakes or eat them until we do the official cake cutting.
Is he bringing you finger?
Ladies and gentlemen, Heather just told me that today is actually Wes Craven's birthday. So this cake cutting is for Wes.
Happy birthday, Wes Craven!
Should I go ahead and cut it? Yeah. Then we have some fancy music.
Sing?
Let's have some fancy music. Then we have some fancy cake cutting music. Okay.
We should sing happy birthday to Wes.
What's a good song to?
Sing the whole song.
What's a?
Okay, ready. Let's sing happy birthday to Wes Craven. Ready? Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wes Craven. Happy birthday to you.
Yay. All right, here we go.
All right, guys, welcome. Give it up for Craig Sheffer.
Want to see, like, what was your preference? Like, were you trying to just do it like an imitation? Like, did you listen to a lot of the tapes?
Yeah, I listened to a lot of the tapes, and you know, I watched him, you know, like in his debates with Kennedy and all that stuff. So I was trying to, you know, get his speech pattern and things like that. And then I was just trying to, you know, find ways to find ways that his posture was a little like this. You know, he had ways of talking, and I tried to just not necessarily mimic them, and then kind of let go and be in the moment. You know, that's what we try to do. But yeah. But I had my chin, you know, like bigger, and took my hair back, and yeah, I wanted to do a few more things. I wanted to do a nose prosthetic, but they were just like didn't want to. They didn't also want us to age, which was kind of weird because
it's over like years and years.
It's over years and years. It takes me the whole way up until the time. It's from like what 40 when Eisenhower was in office, which is late 40s, and it takes you the whole way another 25 years. But I don't know, you know, they have their way of doing things, so they were just like, no, we don't want to do that, and they didn't age Eisenhower either, so it was just interesting.
Fire in the Sky. Did you get to meet the original crew from '75 before you worked on it, or?
Yeah, well, no. While we were working on it, all the guys that were part of that, the crew. This is a UFO movie. I don't know who's seen it or not, but it's a great UFO movie. But it's even the greater part to me is it's literally the most what can I say consequential abduction story, because you had 6 witnesses, none of whom really liked each other. They're out logging together. 2 of them are best friends, and the rest of them don't like each other, and none of them like me. I was the asshole again. But these 6 guys were in a truck and coming back, and they all saw it. And can somebody like not talk out loud back there a little bit, or move outside? Is there something?
Yeah, you got injured outside.
Oh, somebody's injured. Okay, stay. It's just like, Yeah, so these 6 guys saw, I mean, I got to meet them. They saw half the size of the football field the ship was. I mean, you're talking about a massive thing hovering about 40 feet above the ground over the forest. And the one guy, D Between You plays, Travis, you know, got out of the truck and all the guys are screaming for him to get back in. He got zapped by a beam, lifted him up, dropped him on the ground, and those guys just tore out. And his best friend was driving, Mike Rogers, played by Robert Patrick. And they went back to town, and nobody believed them. And they were about to charge them with murder. They had them all take lie detector tests. Well, they all passed, you know. And finally, 5 days later, Travis shows up like, I don't know, it's like 50 miles away.
Yep.
And there's no explanation, right? So it was considered like the most believable abduction UFO story. It's like, you know, and these guys also, they passed that test. They did another one. So that was in '74, I think. So they passed that first one. They passed another one. Somebody interviewed them in '83. And then we did that movie in '93, and they all came up and did another. So you're talking about kind of a hard thing to fake and considered pretty real. And if you met Travis, he goes to these things sometimes. He's very, not like a phony or good, he's just a very believable, down to earth. I've had a lot of talks with him about it. It's, yeah, I really like that movie, and especially because I was the only one of the actors at that time that actually believed, because my dad had a close encounter at his work. I'm from actually York, Pennsylvania, a short drive away. And my dad had a close encounter when I was just a kid. I was like 8. He didn't tell me about it until I was out of high school, but he did. So I believe it's real.
Wow.
Did I answer the question?
How are you? I wasn't blowing off that handshake. How you doing?
Good. This poor man got roasted mercilessly by the Sons of Anarchy at the last Hunt Valley show during their panel. So it's nice to have him up here for a change.
I'll never talk to those guys again. Especially Kim Coates. He's my best friend, so I will talk to him. I have to tell you, so just a little backstory on how The Dark Knight worked out for me. A good friend of mine is a good friend of Chris Nolan's, and Chris Nolan was about to start shooting the film. And he asked my buddy, he said, do you think your friend William might be interested in this cameo in the beginning of the film? And I'd never met Chris, so I talked to Chris on the phone. He sent me the scene, I read it, I called him back, I said, sure. So I get to Chicago, and it's the first 2 days of photography for the film. And the reason that Chris Nolan did that, he told me, is because I think it was the first time that a theatrical scene was shot with an IMAX camera. Because usually IMAX is, like nature things and that. So it's this big box, and so we're gonna shoot this, and Chris wanted to shoot it first so he could edit it right away, and that's what he would show about the film for the next 7 months while they shot it. He would just show that one scene in the beginning. So I show up to the set to do a rehearsal, and a character guy that loves, finding characters. Heath comes out, I'd never met him before, and there he is with his makeup on and everything. And I have to tell you, we just rehearsed the scene one time, and I thought to myself, what this guy's doing is so cool. I mean, as an actor, I was kind of, I was such a fan instantly before we even rolled the cameras, because I thought that he found, obviously it's what's in the movie. I mean, Heath did it like throughout the entire film. I hope that answers your question, but I have to tell you, it was a real joy. Every once in a while, you work with somebody and they do something and you just look at them and you think, that's just really unbelievable. So.
You're wet. You're fishing on that. Like, how miserable was
I think wet is an understatement. But I'm okay with that.
So what was it like going through all that? I mean, because you're acting in kind of bad conditions.
Well, a lot of people, have asked me, so what was it like out on the water? You can't go out on the ocean and shoot something like that. You have a crew, of a bunch of people, and it's just plain dangerous. We did shoot about 2 or 3 weeks, actually 2 weeks on the Pacific and a little bit on the Atlantic. But those were only days when it was absolutely flat. You could shoot on the Pacific because just point the camera the other way and you can't see the shore, and you can't see a palm tree. But the storm stuff was all in stage 16 at Warner Brothers, which is their biggest stage. I don't know if whoever might remember this, but back in I think in the 30s, they did these Esther Williams musicals, these synchronized swimming things.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a tank in stage 16 that was 90 feet by 90 feet. 90 feet by 90 feet, 26 feet deep. And they took the floorboards off, they filled the tank up, and they built a replica of the Andrea Gale, which I think the real Andrea Gale was 65 feet long. They built a replica that was 60, so it was pretty close to, and I saw it when they were building it, and it was an empty tank, and on the bottom of it, they had this thing called like a gimbal. It's basically like 8 spider arms that are all hydraulically controlled, and one guy, and then green screen all the way around, and then one guy that sat in a little booth, and he could operate that. So he could get the boat to go this way and this way. Then they put in these 100-mile-an-hour fans, they call them, and I'm not exaggerating, they look like airplane propellers. They're about as tall as the ceiling, and what they do is they had 2 or 3 of those, and they would put this, like a fire hose in front of it, and that much water, and it would hit that 100-mile-an-hour thing. And I'm like, how's that gonna make it all the way 30 feet out to the thing? Let me tell you, it felt like BBs, just bouncing off your face. Then they had these things called water cannons, which are like, at New Year's Eve when you got the little poppers. Yeah, they're like poppers with 55 gallons of water in it. So when they pull the thing, you're like, how's that gonna get all the way over here until you're sitting on your ass? And then the fun part of it all was the real joy, as the storm got bigger, was this thing called the dump tank. And all of us on the boat were like, how's that going to get all the way over here? Well, you'd think we would have learned by then. It was a couple of 1,000 gallons of water in a big tank, and then underneath it, it had about 10 foot wide. It was like a slide, and it had a bottom that went like this, and it was, I'm not exaggerating, from the boat, it was to that wall over there. And literally, we're all sitting on the ship going, the water's never going to make it over here. But what was fun working on the film, and we found this out, was whenever they were going to test out something, they brought all the stunt guys on. So when the stunt, because they didn't want to, listen, they could care less if Bill Fichtner got creamed, but George Clooney is not getting killed. Bill Fichtner, you can go in, Bill. Yeah, thanks, bro. So I remember the day we tested the dump tank, they brought out all the stunt guys on top of it, and they let this dump tank go. And the water comes down, they just pull the bottom out of it, and 2,000 gallons of water come down this slide, and when it hits the bottom, it literally just shoots straight across there. It hit one of the stunt guys. There was a bait table, which is actually in the movie, which is made of like 2x4s. The stunt guy hit and he broke the 2x4s. Like he went right through the 2x4s. That's how much pressure it was. And then they're like, okay, you guys can go on now. We're like, yeah. Thanks, man. It's just, I know you guys love me.
All right, guys, welcome back. Give it up for the woman of our dreams, Heather Langenkamp.
Do you have any fond memories or favorite moments from Wes Craven's New Nightmare?
Not one. Just kidding. Of course, that movie was. Whoa, this is like a hot mic. Because so many years had passed, and from the first movie, almost 10 years, so I felt way more comfortable. Like I knew more that what I was doing, so every day was a lot more relaxed. But the character that I played was just going through so much trauma that there was a lot of anxiety that I just had, wanting to play Nancy as this mother. I think my fondest memories of those days was just, kind of being with John Saxon. We had a lot of nice scenes together for the first time, and he wasn't like a drunkard, and he wasn't like being a horrible dad. Like he was just being a great guy, and being able to act with John Saxon as, 2 actors who are friends. I think that was one of the high points. And then another high point for me was, I just felt like a lot of the dream sequences were so imaginative, especially the one in the in the cemetery when I have to fall into the coffin, and that whole sequence to me was just really beautifully done, and I really liked it a lot. So just pushing the envelope of these dreams, I was always amazed that Wes could constantly, you know, push.
How was the, how did Wes work? How did he work on the set with directing you, Robert, and on the movies you guys did?
That's a great question. So he wrote the script, and he wrote the script in 1, 3, and 7. So he puts a lot on paper that actors can use to figure out what they want to do. And so we would come to work each day. I would have my own ideas of, you know, how I wanted to play the scene, or if I wanted to be, you know, crying or not crying, or, you know. And so I would bring what I had practiced at home and had worked on. And Wes was always really direct. He would always say, you know, I like that, but I want you to be more distraught, or I want you to be less, you know, I want you to be very cautious when you do this line, or walking to the stairway. He would always give me directions that were really clear, and I would always want to please him, so I tried to always do whatever he asked. I know that with Robert, you know, he was a more experienced actor than I was, and so I think he deferred to Robert a lot, especially when we were doing our fight scenes. Like Robert had so much experience in acting school and also just on sets that Robert often choreographed our whole fight scene, and he would say that, you know, the camera's gonna love it if Heather's doing this and my glove is here, or let's do this where I pin you up against the wall. A lot of it was Robert's suggestions, and I think Wes was really happy to take them. Whenever Wes was very, when he wanted something, he didn't back down very often, and I only fought him once, and I lost.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Okay. So the question is, one I've never heard before. What's your favorite scary movie? How about you, Tony?
Me? Oh, wow. I was going to pass it on.
I feel like if I answer that question, I'm going to put my life in jeopardy, right? Isn't that what goes
How about if we say other than Scream, and other than any Scream movie?
No, I'm saying that's what Ghostface always asks
I
before
gotcha.
he like slaughters you.
Gotcha.
But I guess
Who's walking into the building?
I've already bit the dust anyway, so I can really answer. Yay, Melissa!
Ladies and gentlemen, Melissa Barrera.
Sorry I'm late. We were just asked what our favorite scary movie is.
Okay, so the question is to Melissa, how she feels about not moving forward with the Scream films.
I think that question is going to get me in trouble, so I am not going to answer that. And I hope that you can understand. Thank you.
I think the fans have their own opinion, so nothing more needs to be said.
Yeah. I'm mad I'm not in Scream 7. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I did die, but like, you know, who does die, right? Come on. Fake blood.
A day covered in fake blood.
Okay.
Best day or worst day?
I think the worst.
Sticky.
It's so sticky, you can't touch anything. And they don't want to get it off your hands because it won't match, even though who's paying attention to hands that much?
Yeah.
Maybe you guys aren't.
And it stains.
It stains. And the only thing that gets it off is like shaving cream, at least for me.
Yeah.
So you're basically showering yourself with shaving cream, and it's slowly coming out, and by the end of it you look like an Oompa Loompa because it stains your body. You're kind of orange in the sunlight, and it's not great.
Honestly, for me, it's best day. I love being covered in blood. Maybe I'm weird, but I'm so used to it now, and I kind of think it's sexy in movies.
Yeah. Add that caveat.
In movies, fake blood.
Fake blood.
I like the look.
We can hear you. I'll repeat the question so everyone can hear on the microphone, and we'll go from there.
Dave, I am actually standing up now, but you can't see it.
Okay, so our first question is going to come from who? Who's got the first one? Right over here. Yep.
What was the most uncomfortable prosthetic that you ever had to
I think we better go to the second question. Do you mean in a film, or? So the question, don't look at me that way, Ashley. The question is, what is the most uncomfortable prosthetic you've ever had to wear, and whether it was in a film or not is up to the star to answer. We'll start with Barbie. She's eager to answer this one.
You'd be surprised. Okay, yeah, it was 4 hours in the makeup chair, and it was ugly, and I couldn't talk, which was really irritating to me. Everyone kept saying, shouldn't you be the chatter? But then I did a commercial with two directors and musicians called Godly and Cream. And it was for Wrangler jeans, and it was called What's Going On, What's Going On? And I had to be a robotic tango dancer, and it was choreographed by Bruno Tonioli. Do you guys know who he is? Yeah, oh yeah. He used to be our choreographer when I was in Shock, this group I was in. And they had just freshly made these latex masks, so we would look more robotic. And we pulled it, and they were skin tight, you pulled it, and I would almost fainted from the stench of the latex. And I still had to robotically tango and fall on my butt countless times from it, it was, that I have to say that, is that prosthetic makeup though? Because that's just a mask.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's mine.
Yeah, it was not in Hellraiser. It was a short film which never saw the light of day because it was never completed, because it was the director's first time, and his DOP said, he was a very good director of photography, he said, I'm only going to do this if we use real film, and this was like 15 years ago, and no one was using real film in those days. And it's just, and I remember I had this kind of visor thing on, and it was, the guy did not know what he was doing, and I just remember it being so tight on my face, I thought my nose was going to get crushed. It was just painful, really, really painful. And I was in it for like four hours, something like that. I can't remember they actually shot me in it at all before they decided, yeah, this is just not going to happen. And yeah, that was it. It was horrible. So it made me really, really, really appreciate how talented and wonderful the guys working on Hellraiser and Nightbreed were. Because when you get put in the hands of an amateur who says, oh yeah, I can do prosthetic makeup. No, you can't. You really can't.
It would have to be Julia's skin and the head to toe blood and two, but I kind of like it.
That is all. Mine was to stop me snoring at night. I see a lot of people nodding. They make some. I know you've been there. I know they make some.
I'm currently there.
They make some.
Not right now. I'm not wearing an invisible one.
They make some very cruel prostheses for stopping you snoring that also stops you sleeping, which is, so I suppose it kind of works in that way. And your partner has a lovely night's sleep, but you don't, so, yeah.
Wow. Mine's very good. In fact, I was just wearing it to have a nap before I came down here. And I'm wearing that and my noise-cancelling headphones, because the air conditioning is so fucking loud. It's the only way I can sleep. Well, I think the prosthetics principally that I wore were across 8 Hellraiser films and Nightbreed, and another movie involving the same image animation crew called Proteus, which I bet none of you have seen. Which I played a 90-something-year-old man called Mr. Brinkstone, but they're basically all the same, and they weren't necessarily all that uncomfortable. Speaking of being in the hands of amateurs, though, I'll go to the days of the theatre work prior to Hellraiser, so into the 1970s, there was one attempt at making a life cast. And I'm pointing the finger here at Mr. Clive Barker on 2 occasions. And I wish he was here. We used plaster of Paris. And we had not a clue what we were doing, because we never did in anything that we did. As Clive didn't when he started directing Hellraiser. It was all in the same spirit. And I had a beard at the time, and we didn't really Vaseline enough. So when it came to remove it, it wouldn't. And I remember Phil Rimmer taking a hammer and chisel to try and break, but he also mixed the plaster of Paris so well, it was rock fucking solid. And I was there for a very long time, and it's the only time that I've ever vaguely started to panic that I'll never actually see the light of day again. The other occasion would be we did a production of Oscar Wilde's play called Salome, and I played Yochanan, which is John the Baptist, and of course he gets blinded in the course of the story, so Clive decided that he would blind me, which he did by applying paper mache to my forehead and over my eyes, and built up ridges around my eyes so that my eyes looked sunken, and then painted it, probably with watercolor, because we wouldn't have known any better. That was fine. It probably looked pretty good. The problem was that I was completely blind. My fellow Cenobites will understand. But this was theatre. So I had a rope tied around my middle and measured off to the back of the stage so that I could walk around without...
Howdy folks, like blood, violence, freaks in nature. How about you come down Spalding's Museum of Monsters and Man. Come see the alligator board. Come by famous murder ride. Don't forget to take home some tasty fried chicken. It just tastes so damn good.
Also, let's have a big round of applause for their parents for doing parenting right.
Especially the Spalding kid.
Yes. So the judges could not come up with a single winner, so we have 2 winners in this category. The first winner is Jordan as Marie Antoinette. And the second winner bribed the judges by feeding them. It's Maverick as Captain Spaulding. The judges wanted me to let you know that besides chicken, they also take alcohol bribes. Oh yes! The judges once again had a hard time coming up with one winner, so we have 2. First we have Peter as Star-Lord Zombie. And next we have Alex as the Field Reaper. Once again, please a big round of applause for all the contestants. They've selected 2. The first is the duo of Catwoman and Penguin. And the other is Estelle as Miss Fortune. So once again, he's easy to find. He's the one with no hair. And our next contestant. Hello, how are you? I'm good. Your real name?
Ashley.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ashley. And Ashley's character would be?
Lucy from the Fallout TV show? Fallout.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ashley as Lucy from the Fallout TV show. Let's hear it for Ashley.
We love you, Lucy!
Okay. So, without further ado, first let's have a big round of applause for everyone in this category. The judges have decided that Corey as Julie from Return of the Living Dead 3 is the sexiest. So again, let's have a big round of applause for everybody in this category, everybody in all the categories tonight, and yourselves. You guys are awesome.
This is the most congested part of Cherry Hill, the hallway just outside of the photo ops. Take a look. You've got vendors like on either side, but you can barely move. There's our photo op schedule. Oh, sorry. Shouldn't that say Scream 6 Duo instead of Scream 4 Duo? Did I scare you?
A little.
We're joined by apparently Amanda from Saw. That is the coolest thing ever.
It is really awesome.
I don't have the Amanda body, but I got the Amanda trap, so that's what counts.
That's what counts.
That's right.
Oh my God, Living Dead dolls. You gonna get him a sibling?
She has some siblings at home.
Oh, okay, all right. We've got hand-carved jack-o'-lanterns. Those are amazing. I love that we have the icons of both Halloween and Thanksgiving. Fights that way. Fights that way. First one to talk wins. Uh-oh. Well, I'm getting murdered today. For those of us who still remember that today is Sunday, the Nun. See, Mom, I do go to church. Here we have Batman and the other evil clown.
Everybody look at me.
I don't know, Batman, you're outnumbered 3-1.
You guys are looking at me like...
Also, this guy's way more sinister than the Joker. This guy's the best cosplayer of them all.
So, got Hocus Pocus soap, Taylor Swift poster. I'll start it off at $20. Hands up if you're in. So 20. Anybody over here? All right, 20, 30, 40. So homemade wreath and witch boot flower home decor. I'll start it off at 30 for the pair. If you're in at 30, raise your hand. If you're cold in here for some ungodly reason, got a nice pinhead Hellraiser snap jacket. It's a size extra large.
That's cool.
Let's do, is there anything else Hellraiser up here? Yeah, you know, let's do that. Give me the pinhead jacket and a signed Ashley Laurence 8x10. So 3 art prints. I'll start the trio off at $20 for Freddy, Reanimator, and Pretty Woman Texas Chainsaw Massacre mashup. You're in Jack Skellington Pocket Funko Pop. And a...
Oh, he's so cute!
Whoa. It's durable. A Jack Skellington Geeky Tiki ceramic mug. Jack Skellington mini mug, Funko Pop, and wall art. I'll start it all off for $20. In the 20. All right, so we're in at 60 for the wreath and the Billy puppet. Everybody in 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 120, 120 going once, twice, sold for 120, thank you.
Well, I'm finally home after a very long, very exhausting, but very fun Monster Mania weekend. Got this really cool shirt out of it. Still got my VIP wristband. It was my first time doing VIP. I'm glad I did. The party was fun. I know everyone was saying, like, oh, normally, you know, Robert Englund used to come down. And, like, at first, it seemed like it was going to be kind of lame and no one was really coming down. But Heather Langenkamp came down. She cut the cake. It was actually Wes Craven's birthday, so we sang happy birthday for him. It was really, really nice. And it was just a great weekend. The Scream panel was a lot of fun. The Hellraiser panel turned into just chaotic hilarity, which I loved. I really enjoyed meeting Mikey Madison and Melissa Barrera. Melissa especially, really, really sweet. Like, she took her time to talk to everyone in her line. She hugged every single person in her line. You know, just, she was very personable. And I thought she handled the question about Scream 7 very diplomatically. And it's like, we know, Melissa, and we got you. So, I really enjoyed it. Definitely going to be going to the Monster Mania in Oaks later this year in November. Still on the fence about the October one in Maryland. I hope to go, but we'll see. Like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. If you don't, you may end up trapped in a hotel all weekend with no air conditioning, because I cannot stress enough how hot and uncomfortable it was and how, like, people were getting sick because it was so hot. And as always, every day is Halloween.